So how long does it take to get a family-based green card in 2025? One of the most common questions I get asked every single week. Well, in this video, we'll break it down based on the different factors of family-based green cards, all the steps, and all the complications that make the process, the timing, go so fast or so slow. So, in this video, I'll tell you all about it. Hello everybody and welcome back to Immigration Channel. In this video, I'm going to cover how long does it take to get a family-based green card in 2025, which is one of the most common questions I get on this channel every single week. We'll tackle this question in this video all the way until the end. As you know, green card processing times depend on many factors. And specifically, there are many different kind of green card categories in the family-based categories. Your green card, whether it's employment-based or family-based, will depend on where you're applying from. If you apply from inside the United States or from outside the United States. Processing times also vary on these factors. But with family-based petitions, we are limited to the different categories if you're not an immediate family member. So if you're not a spouse of a U.S. citizen or a parent of a U.S. citizen, or a child under 21 of a U.S. citizen, all the other kind of categories are subject to a preference system, which requires them to wait for their green card. And we'll talk about that in a second. So the total time to get a green card depends on your individual situation and the following factors. There are essentially 5 factors that will determine the processing of your card. Number 1, your relationship to the sponsoring family member. Are they a U.S. citizen? Or are they a permanent resident, right? So those are important factors and an analysis that we do to determine how long your case will take. Number 2, your home country. Are you from India or China or the Philippines? Then in that case, your case will take longer, and I'll explain to you in a second. Or are you from France or Germany or England? In this case, your application will be a little bit faster. This is because of the processing times and priority dates. Number 3, where are you applying for your green card? Are you applying from inside the United States or are you waiting overseas? Number 4, whether Immigration and Citizenship Services, USCIS, need more information. Did you get a request for evidence? If you got a request for evidence, your case most likely will be delayed. And number 5, the current backlogs. If there are backlogs at USCIS and later on at the National Visa Center, it will determine how long it will take for your case to process and eventually will get your green card. So, how long does it take to actually get a marriage-based green card? Before we dive into this topic, if you're here for the first time, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Click the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos. And also give us a big like so YouTube will be able to show these videos to more people just like you. As always, if you need help with your immigration matters, all you have to do is send me a text 619-483-4549 or go to www.immigrationsap.com. Leave your details and one of my team members will contact you ASAP. And now let's get back into the video. So how long is it going to take to get a marriage-based green card? Well, if you're filing inside the United States, it will depend if your spouse is a U.S. citizen or a green card holder. If your spouse is a U.S. citizen, right now it's taking about 10 months to process adjustment of status inside the United States. If your spouse is a green card holder, well, then we have to go to the visa bulletin and determine what cases are being processed in a particular month for category F to A, which controls spouses of green card holders. Right now, it's taking a few months if you're inside the United States, and if you're outside the United States, you might even have to wait a few years. Now, what is the reason that adjustment of status inside the United States is a little bit faster than a marriage case in embassy or consulate? The reason is because when you file inside the United States, Form I-130, adjustment of status Form I-45, the work permit, all the additional documents are being processed at one time with one agency. Versus when you file the I-130 and your spouse is overseas, then we're dealing with multiple agencies like the National Visa Center and eventually the embassy. And that process is going to be much longer because it takes all these agencies to process the case much longer. So remember, guys, if your spouse is overseas, you're looking at about 2 years, sometimes even 2.5 years for that process to be adjudicated right now at the recording of this video. How long does it take to get a green card for your children? If your children are minor, under the age of 21, and they are inside the United States, it's taken about 10 to 12 months to process the green card as part of the adjustment of status. If the kids are minor children of green card holders, that process is taking about 20 months or so right now for applications that are being processed inside the United States. Now remember, if you are a green card holder under the category of F2A, it also depends where you're from. If you're from Mexico, Philippines, or China, or in India, that will take much longer versus if you're somebody from another country that is not subject to such longer preference system waiting times. If you're unmarried, adult child of a U.S. citizen, so if you're over the age of 21 and you're unmarried, that process might take over 8 years for you to get a green card from your U.S. citizen parent. And in the meantime, you're not allowed to be inside the United States unless you have a different status. So if you can be a student all these years, by all means. If you have a work visa and you can be in the United States and wait for your parents' case to be adjudicated, then you can also do that. If you're an unmarried child of a green card holder, that process may be a little bit longer, about 9 to 10 years right now at the recording of this video. But things might change. Therefore, it's really important for you guys to follow the visa bulletin. And if you search the video library on our channel, you'll find a video where I explain how the visa bulletin works. Make sure you watch that video to understand how to find your priority date. How long does it take to get a green card for widows of U.S. citizens? So if you're a widow of a U.S. citizen, you file Form I-360 to get a green card even without your citizen spouse that just passed away. It is a fairly straightforward process. You just have to prove the relationship and a death certificate, and you file Form I-360. Right now, these cases are taking about 10 to 14 months to process inside the United States. How long does it take for parents of U.S. citizens to get a green card? Well, if your parents are inside the United States, you're looking at about 10 to 11 months to get a green card. They may enter as visitors and after 90 days to file their petition. But if your parents are overseas, you're looking at about 2 years to get your parents to the United States. Finally, how long does it take for siblings to get a green card if they are siblings of U.S. citizens? Once again, guys, this is category F4, and I've done the visa bulletin video every single week. You can go back in the library, see the June 2025 visa bulletin, and I explained to you guys all the different categories. F4 category right now for siblings of U.S. citizens is over 15 years wait. And if you're from India, China, Mexico, over 22 years to wait. And the reason why is because so many people are in the backlog waiting for their cases to be adjudicated. People that filed 15 years ago, 20 years ago, are getting their green cards right now. So if you're thinking about doing this for a sibling, you're going to wait a long time. So you can still do that, but before you do that, look for other alternatives to get a green card. Maybe through the EB2 self-petition if you're a professional, maybe through the EB1 if you're a high-skilled individual. There are different ways to do self-petitions to get a green card faster than doing the sibling route. Remember, guys, it really depends on if you're inside the United States or outside the United States. It also depends if you're an immediate relative, which means if you're a spouse of a U.S. citizen or parent of a U.S. citizen, then your wait time is really, really minimal, under a year. But any other categories, siblings or adult children of U.S. citizens or children of green card holders, adults, all these categories, F2A category, F3 category, F2B category, F4 for siblings, these categories, guys, you have to follow the visa bulletin to see what dates they are working right now. Many of these applicants who are not immediate relatives will have to wait 6, 7, even 10 years to get their green card. What that means is two things. First of all, it's good for you to know how long it's going to take for you to get a green card, depending on your category. If you are applying, not as immediate relatives, you have to follow the visa bulletin. That's the best thing you can do every single month to see which categories they're working on. You have to study your category. If you are a sibling of a U.S. citizen, you're F4. If you're a child of a U.S. citizen, adult, you're F1. If you're a child of a green card holder, adult, you're F2B. Follow those categories. See what dates they're working on. It will tell you when you're going to get your green card. But in many of these cases, people who are not immediate relatives, they're looking for alternative ways. Well, there are many of them, usually through employment, either through self-sponsorship, EB2 and AW, or EB1A, or EB5, if you have at least $800,000 to invest, or get sponsored by an employer, come to the United States, get your job, get your green card, and wait for the family petition to be processed in the background, right? That's how most people do it. Well, hopefully that information is very helpful for you guys. If you need help with your immigration matter, send me a text, 619-483-4549. As always, I'm here for you guys. Thanks for watching all my videos, and I'll see you in our next one.